Ah, 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 ah. I don't like that. No. How about share the show? Boom. That's how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing on this fine evening? I feel so like you ever like leave the house without your phone and you're like, oh God, you feel naked. Or maybe like women, you forget your purse, or men, maybe you forget your wallet. That's how you feel when you always do a podcast with somebody and then that person's not there and you're like, what is this weird feeling going on over here? He should be joining us momentarily. He had a bit of a system problem. I see people saying it's freezing in Michigan. It's pretty cold up here in New Jersey, too. And you know what? Florida ain't that far off. I will be at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party on the 29th, so Sunday. And I was looking at some of the temperatures, and it looks to be pretty chilly. I thought I saw like a low of 49. So for Florida, pretty chilly. We'll see what happens with that. But we're going to jump into some news here. We're going to talk about some pressing things going on outside of Disney, well, inside of Disney, and how we feel about it. Oh, South Jersey. I guess you could consider me South Jersey. There's always that argument if there's a Central Jersey or not. But pretty excited for this upcoming trip. I'll be doing a good amount of filming while I'm there and spending some quality time with the lady. So remember, sharing is caring. Share that show. Share it. Share it. Share it. Because you don't want to be that one person who doesn't share it. Oh, I don't need to do that because actually I'll do it just in case. Just in case he doesn't make the show. So let's get started here. I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors, the Fantastic Memories Travel and its Mouse Master Travel Group. The Mouse Master Travel Group focuses on Disney destination vacations, and the Mouse Master agents would love to take care of the stressful parts of your vacation planning so you can focus on the fun. You can check them out at mousemastertravel.com. By the way, this is an Uncle Danny preferred travel agency. News to come on that, but I book with them only. So head on over to mousemastertravel.com and tell them Behind the Ears podcast sent you. So you got your trip booked. What's next? How about some coffee? Trader Sam's Coffee Company. They are the artisanal roaster of specialty Disney-inspired coffees. Why not brew some of that Disney magic in your home? They've got options like Skipper's Brew, Ghoulish Delight, Enchanted Tiki Coconut, a fan favorite, the Red-Headed Rum, and many other unique flavors. All their coffees are certified gluten and allergen free, and they have awesome guest artwork on their brand new packaging, and they also have a sampler pack that I'm very interested in looking into. The Trader Sam's Coffee Company, they like to say that they basically give you an adventure in every bag, and life is an adventure. Every day is a new adventure. So why not start your adventure off with some Trader Sam's coffee? You can find them at tradersamscoffee.com. While you're there, let me save you a little money, because who doesn't like saving money? Use our special promo code EARS20, that's EARS20, to save 20% off of your first package. Once again, that's tradersamscoffee.com. Brew your happy place. Are you a fan of those live streams? Maybe, just maybe, you like watching streaming inside the park. And you're like, hey, I want more of it. I want exclusive stuff. How do I get it? Well, let me tell you real quick. Ready for this? You're going to want to go to their page, Streaming the Magic, where you're watching me right now. And you're going to want to do the Patreon account. It's $5 a month. You can't even get a crap-a-mac, latte, whatever that crap is from that place we call Starbucks. You can't even get a nice drink there for $5. So take that $5 and let's do something good with it. Send it to Streaming the Magic, and you could become a VIP member. Now, what do you get for that $5 a month? Because you need value from it, right? Well, you get exclusive streams only for VIP members that can only be seen on the VIP exclusive page. You also get a special show once a week with Chris and myself. Huge plus, if you ask me. That's well worth the $5 because nobody else can hear it. That's not me tooting my own horn. You know, if we do 1 million views and downloads in a year, think about how much more we would have if these people if everybody could see the VIP shows. They're really unique shows. They happen every Thursday night. So head on over to Streaming the Magic and subscribe. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Streaming the Magic proudly brings to you Behind the Ears Podcast. Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another exciting episode of Behind the Ears Podcast. It is a Thursday edition, so you know this tends to be a tad bit shorter of a show due to the VIP show afterwards. And if you're visually watching, you can see two things. One, look at that beard, like clean cut, that haircut, ready to go. As you can tell, leaving for Disney in less than 24 hours. This time tomorrow night, I will be sipping a drink in Disney Springs. And the other thing is, the other man knocking on that glass, Mr. Chris, he is not here yet. He will be joining us. He is running a few minutes late due to some computer problems. So for anybody who's new here, who am I? I'm Uncle Danny. That doesn't say Uncle Danny, but I'm Uncle Danny. We are, if you look up in the top corner, not that corner, we are the Behind the Ears Podcast that we stream here twice a week, 3 times a week, excuse me. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9:45 p.m. Eastern, and we also do our VIP show here. So let's jump in to, what I'd like to start off my my shows with, and that's what happened this day in history, in Disney history. That did not work the way I wanted to. So yeah, there she goes. So I'm not the only, Chris is not the only one experiencing some computer issues. So as everybody knows, all day today, it has been October 26th, just in case you didn't know. Let's go. Let's see. In 1949, a letter from Disney marketing genius Kay Kamen, mailed from Paris and postmarked October 26th, is received by Ruth Ivner, vice president of Kay Kamen Limited in New York. The letter contains a flurry of business details and jokes about Kamen's fear of flying. Kay Kamen is currently in Paris, France, and is expected to return to New York on October 28th. Tragically, at the age of 56, Kay Kamen and his beloved wife, Katie, will perish 2 days later in Air France crash over Azores, a group of islands in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. So that's crazy that happened. I didn't know that. Let's see. In 1955, Mickey Mouse Club airs on ABC. Today is Anything Could Happen Today. That was today's episode. Season 2, episode 7 of the Disneyland television series airs The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Ooh, scary, scary, scary. 1997, The Adventure of Ichabod and Mr. Toad airs on the Disney Channel 4 days after it has been announced that Disney World is going to close the classic Mr. Toad attraction in Fantasyland, which, if you don't know, is now the Winnie the Pooh ride. In 2000, Disneyland presents a special nighttime event called Disney Villain Divas Enchanted Evening. Limited to 500 guests and at $150 per person, the spellbinding event includes evening's admission to the Disneyland park, a beverage reception, a festive feast, an opportunity to purchase limited edition villain merchandise, and meet the creators and artists of the merchandise, and a commemorative gift. I'm not going to lie, I would have considered doing that. $150 back then is 2000. I mean, that's a hefty price, but I don't know. I think I would have done it. Today I actually didn't have a lot of news. Let's see. The last thing would have been 2011. Disney's Animal Kingdom celebrates the Year of the Bat at the conservation station with family-friendly activities. So it's pretty cool. Oh, it looks like Mr. Chris is here, so let me bring him on. There he is, pouring his drink. Well,
caught me.
Everybody's so anxious tonight. They were all like, where's Mr. Chris? I only explained it 5 times. But we just did today's day in the news, so you didn't miss much. Just kind of chat about how cold it was. What is my costume? That is a time to say. Can't tell you. Don't want to ruin the fun. I made you wait this long.
Yeah, I don't do costumes. I do jambalaya. I make jambalaya on Halloween.
Hey Danny, did you hear about the new show coming to Epcot? Yeah, we can touch on that. Chris was a little more excited than I was. You know what it is? I'm excited for it. I like new things. I don't like when they don't put a date on it.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with you on there. I mean, it's one of those cases where it's like I'm really excited that they're actually going to put something, STEM related, the science, technology, engineering, and math, back into Innoventions, which kind of is at the heart of, what Innoventions used to be. But to say that it's going to showcase sometime in November, but not with a real date, it's hard to get excited for it because, well, Danny, you're going to be there during the very first few days of November. And, it'd be great if you got to see it, but there's no way for you to anticipate, and therefore art thou change plans as to whether or not you'd actually be able to enjoy it.
That's what really bothered me the most, is because Trisha, one of our fantastic admins over in the community, put it out there and was like, hey, look at this. So I get all excited. I'm like, ooh, November. I'm like, maybe I'm lucky and they're going to start it on the 1st. Of course not. Well, I can't say of course not. We don't.
Yeah, I was going to say you just don't know. I mean, for me, I'm really excited about it because I guess you could say I have no anticipation of being in there in November, so I don't have to worry about it. But then again, you know what my concern is? They're gonna get going with it. People are gonna like it and so on, and then they're gonna change it, or then they're going to remove it. It's only gonna be a temporary type of thing. I mean, I really hope that this is the beginning of bringing about some real changes for Innoventions. I mean, right now they had like the World of Color or Colorama, I think it's called, which was cute, a lot of fun. But the fact of the matter is, it's a shell of itself. Really, it's a lot of unused space, and I'd really like to see some cool technology showcased there, even if it was a bunch of cool prototypes on certain things or technology demonstrations, etc. I really think that would be kind of cool, but that's just me. Your mileage may vary.
Yeah. So what are we talking about? It was just announced that the Spectaculab interactive show set to debut at Epcot in the month of November. It's an engaging new interactive show. Guests will be invited to join a group of real scientists and their tech-savvy intern for a series of thrilling experiments that put scientific principles like ultrasonic pressure, acceleration, and force to the test. Through this funny and fascinating show, guests of all ages will have an opportunity to participate in the demonstrations and discover how scientific principles have inspired amazing technologies to be enjoyed today. Walt Disney World will collaborate with sponsor Murata, right? M-U-R-A-T-A, Murata, a global leader in design, manufacturing, and supply of advanced electronic components and sciences from scientists, a nonprofit organization that aims to improve STEM literacy at schools. Stay tuned for further information. And that is the extent of what we know.
So, hey, let the speculation reign. I mean, actually, it'd be kind of funny. It'd be funny if Dr. Bunsen Honeydew and Beaker from Muppet Labs actually would like totally, crash their party type of thing. Oh my gosh. Now that would be funny. But it probably won't happen. But it would be funny. But it won't happen. Oh well.
Steven, the 26th of what? If it's because today's the 26th. So I'm assuming you mean November.
26th.
Yeah. Let's see. What else can we talk about tonight? All right. You know what? Now that Chris is here, we could do some housekeeping. Because I wanted to do some housekeeping, but I wanted to wait for you.
Okay.
We'll do some housekeeping.
Uh-huh.
So, big news. Sort of big news. Somewhat news.
You got a haircut.
Oh, I already said that.
Oh.
You missed that one. Everybody knows that I work some odd hours, especially during the holiday season. And the holidays are tough. We got a lot of family stuff going on and whatnot. So Chris and myself sat down and we were planning, ahead to make sure that we're on track. And we've just decided we're gonna take a step back a little bit. No one jump off a ledge. It's okay. The podcast is not going anywhere.
Listen to the whole thing, ladies and gentlemen. Danny and I talked about this. Hear us out before you start flaming us or, hitting that end button or going on tab and checking other YouTube videos. Just check this out. Go ahead.
instead of doing 3 shows a week, let me rephrase that. We are still doing 3 shows a week, but we're only doing 2 live shows a week. So what we're going to be doing is, normally right now our schedule's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 9:45 Eastern. Now we're going to still be at 9:45 Eastern. You're still going to get your VIP show, but we're only going to be going live Tuesdays and Thursdays. So what that means is we're still putting out that 3rd show, but that 3rd show is not going to be a live show. You can't watch that 3rd show. That 3rd show is going to be a downloadable show only. Still for free. You just don't get to see us. Now, that's not saying if breaking news comes out, something major is going on. That's not saying we don't hop on and do a show. That's not saying, hey, we're basically 2 days a week, and there's still always an option that we might come on randomly. If we're light that week, or there's some cool stuff we want to talk about, or me and Chris just find the time on a Wednesday or whatever day and say, hey, listen, let's go out. Let's go do a show. We're going to do it.
Now, here's the thing. There's a reason behind this, and this is only going to be kind of a temporary test, but there is a reason behind it as well. Between November and December, Danny's schedule gets very, very crazy. In fact, what you guys don't know is that last year, before we started streaming, we had a very difficult time meeting up with each other in order to actually record our shows. And this is, again, before we were streaming. So there were some times that we would actually start recording our shows at 11:30 at night Eastern time. And we wouldn't be done until, 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning. And it's just kind of a nature of Danny's job. And to some extent, my schedule gets a little weird at times too during the holidays. So this is not one of those things where, we're planning on this being permanent, but we really want to see what this does for the show. But also at the same time, we really need to adjust things so we provide a quality show. We don't want to be doing things halfway. You guys know that we don't do that. We don't want to do that. We want to basically give you the best show possible. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're kind of preemptively making sure we don't burn ourselves out during a very busy season, so that, everybody can still participate. We're still going to be around. This is one of those things where I know that a lot of you, watch our show here live. You may even catch the replay. This is one of those cases where it would probably even be a good chance for you to catch the podcast itself, or at least configure your phones with, either if you got an iPhone, it's Apple Podcasts. If you have an Android, you can ask Google to play Behind the Ears podcast. You can download a podcast catcher such as Podcast Addict, and it would be able to stream it for you. You can, go to Google Play Music and ask for Behind the Ears podcast. It would be an opportunity for you to actually configure your devices so that you can actually, catch us anytime, and you don't have to worry about it. I know that some of you are going to miss the shows, and you know what? We totally get it. But like Danny said, and we totally already talked about this as well, there are going to be times that we're going to go on kind of unannounced, kind of a pop-up show. And, sometimes those shows will happen on a Wednesday. Sometimes they'll happen in a weekend. We want to make sure that we don't walk over any other streams at the same time. And of course we will, do that as a little extra. But we would rather do this than take weeks off on end or produce, a poor show. That's not fair to you. You guys deserve better. We're going to give it to you.
Yeah. Like I said, we're gonna run through the holidays with it. It's going to, me and Chris haven't nailed down a date. It's either going to start next week or the week after. So we'll nail that down, and just stay tuned. Listen, you still get 2 live shows a week, and all you got to do is just download them. It's literally free. It takes you 13 seconds to do it. Just press that download button and you can listen. Because listen, what you guys hear here, this is a live show. This is, the process show that we put out is a lot different. There's music, there's intros, there's noises and effects, and it's still the same show, just jazzed up a little bit. But that's the other news. Chris, do you have like volume on your monitor or something? No, I'm hearing myself through the headphones.
No.
Okay.
Nothing different.
All right, cool. Yeah, so we're gonna try it out. We're gonna see how it goes. Just you have to make sure that now you're here for the Tuesdays and Thursday shows.
One thing though, everybody, our podcast, what you download and it's audio only. Guess what? It's still unscripted. It's still the same type of show, but it's just audio only.
You're gonna see the real me and Chris, though. I'm not saying we're fake here. That should preface it with that. But it's different when me and him are just having a conversation. And we're kicked back. We have the mics in our hands or whatever, and we're not reading your guys' comments or checking levels. We're just press the record button and we go. That's the extent of the show. All right, that's that news. I've got more news.
What's that, Danny?
Okay, so this has been a big kept secret for a little while. I've been working on something.
You're engaged.
God, just bite your tongue.
Sorry, Alex. By the way, Alex, I don't know anything. I'm kidding.
She's just break up with me right now. All right, no. What's going to happen is, so we've been promoting heavily for the past year. Mouse Master Travel. Okay, they are our preferred travel agency. Our contract had ran out with them, and we went to the drawing board with them, and we reworked some stuff out. And once again, we brought them back in as a renewal for another period of time for another contract. So that's not the exciting news. The exciting news is, you ever want to book a trip, but you hear us say about Mouse Master Travel, but you still always end up coming to ask us questions, or maybe you like to book your own trips, but you need a little guidance, and you're like, I don't know these people. They're not going to take care of me. They're not going to give me the personal effect, that attention that I desire. I don't know if these people are knowledgeable. Maybe they're just in it for the money. Well, here you go. I can stop all of that. I am now a certified travel agent with Mouse Master Travel, and I only specialize in Disney World trips. So if you need to book any other trips, you can still come to me, and I can put you in the right direction of very capable hands inside of Fantastic Memories Travel. But wouldn't you want your next trip to be booked by Uncle Danny? I'm just saying. Half of you already booked your trips anyway. You just put the credit card information in. So help Uncle Danny out. It's pretty cool. I'm a private contractor essentially with Mouse Master. So there's gonna be different links I'm gonna put out, but it's gonna be like, I haven't named it yet, but it's gonna be like Uncle Danny's Travel. Brought to you by Mouse Master Travel. So keep me in mind for your next trip. If you know anybody who is in mind for the next trip. I'm not going to be one of those hosts, though, that spams the living bejeebas out of a show because I'm a travel agent. That's not our forte. I'm not going to do that. But I'll be putting more announcements out once things kind of weigh themselves out. People don't realize that me and Chris have normal day jobs. This goes back to that original statement about bringing down the show. People don't realize this podcast. This doesn't pay our bills. You know what I mean? It's going to get us closer to hopefully moving to Florida. I'm a lot closer, blah, 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 like that. What can you do that Disney can't? All right, I'll get back to that question in a second, Mike. But people don't realize this takes a lot of time out of our own day. So when we say that we're taking a step back, just understand, we have families, we have real jobs. I shouldn't say real jobs. We have, day jobs and everything like that. So that is also a big factor in why that's happening. Mike wants to know, what can you do for me, Uncle Danny? What can you do that Disney can't do? Just wondering. Prices are always going to be the same. I am not going to sit here and tell you I can get you a lower price. That anybody who tells you that is no. I can't get you a lower price. The prices that you see on Disney or Disney tells you is the same prices I'm going to get. What I offer that Disney doesn't is I'll sit there and you tell me, hey, this is my trip. This is what I want. And it is my job to get as close as possible to getting you what you want. So that means at 4 a.m., I'm the one that needs to wake up and try to get you Cinderella's Royal Table. If you want certain fast passes, I'm the one that's got to check daily to try to get your family in there and keep you guys up to date on, what's new, what deals are coming out, and how to save you guys money and maximize your trip. Can you do all of that yourself? Absolutely. But like we've been, same line that I've read how many times now, take the stressful parts out of your vacation planning. You don't have to wake up to do ADRs. You don't have to worry about checking daily for fast passes. That is what I get paid for. So the prices stay the same. Prices stay the same. So, if you guys are ever curious on, what you want to do, and if you want a Disney trip, surely just let us know. Mary says, hey, where do you guys live? I am on the East Coast. I am in New Jersey. And Chris is out in the Midwest. I hope to be moving down to Florida soon, but that's a topic for another day. But you really came to talk about some news. So one of the news items that kind of surprised me a little bit that I wanted to really bring up. But before I do that, I think we had another question. Pretty sure I had a question. I'm sorry if you asked a question before and I didn't answer it. I was saving it, and okay, yeah, I don't know where it went, so I apologize. So let's talk about Cirque du Soleil. So somehow, some way, they were going away, and now all of a sudden they're resuming 2 shows on Thursdays beginning November 2nd. Beginning November 2nd, Cirque du Soleil over at Disney Springs will resume performing 2 shows on Thursday through December 31st. The performances will be at 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. In addition, the box office will be open from 11 a.m. until 11 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. through 9 p.m., and Sunday and Monday, Cirque du Soleil will not have any performances on November 14th, which is kind of odd. It's really odd that you hear news after news after news that Cirque du Soleil is going away, and then all of a sudden Cirque du Soleil is not going away. We just got 2 more shows. I was a little perplexed like that. Yeah, sorry. Thought I froze there for a second. It's really odd, though, why they would do that. Disney's a modern marvel. The new movie coming out, Coco. I know a lot of people are very skeptical on Coco. It looks kind of cool. But Disney Springs is planning a family-friendly fiesta that begins this Friday, and it is themed around Disney's Pixar's newest animated feature, Coco. I will have to write this down because I did not actually read this article, and I'm going to want to participate in this. So let me bring Chris back up there. The Coco celebration will be held on the West Side, from October 27th through November 26th. Exposition Park will be the home to the colorful decor and the scenes from the upcoming film, which is kind of cool. But the entire area will get a taste of Coco with music, food, and decorations every evening from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. On the weekends, kids can enjoy face painting and other activities. Plus, the Spring Streets Taco food truck will be serving vanilla flan. Ooh. Pixar Coco opens in theaters November 22nd.
I think people have been skeptical about it because Disney's had such a strong run over the past, several movies that we've talked about in the very recent past. And, they need to keep it up. I mean, it's highly anticipated because, could you only imagine what would happen if for some reason it doesn't meet up to the expectations of some of its, preceding movies? It's a big deal.
That's unfair, though.
No, I'm not saying it's
fair. You create a great film doesn't mean your next one has to be as good.
Well, no, you're right. You're right. But the thing is that I'm right too.
From a business aspect,
there's an expectation that it's going to be, good, as good if not better. think of the things that we've been talking about. I mean, you talk about, Wreck-It Ralph and Frozen and Big Hero 6 and some of these other movies that have been coming out. All the different Pixar movies in succession as well, and how they've been really doing well. The fact of the matter is that what I don't want to hear is that for some reason it doesn't meet everybody's expectations. It doesn't necessarily, doesn't ask doesn't ask as much from the box office, etc. And it's just, it may not necessarily happen. I'm hoping it does, but but the thing is that something can change.
Let me throw this at you. I had heard speculations, and I looked for it, and I couldn't find it.
What's that?
If Coco is a hit, right?
Yeah.
Don't you think Coco would fit perfectly inside of the Mexican pavilion, obviously?
I think so, from what I've heard of it, and it's the genre of movie and subject matter. It sounds like it would be perfect, but
now don't change the three caballero. I can never say that word.
The three cappuccinos? Yeah,
just the three amigos, as I always call them. Don't change them. I think it's the nostalgia look. But all right, this is gonna sound terrible, but when you walk into that really dark opening room where they have all the artifacts and they usually do like arts and crafts in there, you can really brighten that up because it's almost like you're walking into like a tomb, like an old museum, and then boom, you walk down those stairs and then there's the light. It's still dark down there, but you got the stars and the music, the tequila's flowing.
Tequila's flowing. Wow, stereotypical much?
Well, no, the tequila is flowing from the tequila bar.
I know. You're acting like everybody is, everybody in Mexico does nothing but go.
Should be just drinking.
Although, dude, have you ever been at tequila bar?
I haven't been there in a long time.
Oh, dude, man, Virginia and I shared a flight this past summer. Oh, it was fabulous, and I'll tell you right now, the bartenders were almost like tequila sommeliers. I mean, it was fabulous.
I just think that the color pop would be great. But I put up on the screens you can see right here, ask us your questions, because some of the news I wanted to talk about, we could save for another time. So let's take some of your guys' questions. What is one big change you would make at Disney if you had the power? Well, we just did a show on this. So I'll pull something. Let's try something different. One big change, and make it a realistic change. Don't say, "Oh, free admission for everybody." I would do. Ooh, I don't want to do a ride because that's just corny. I know
what I'd do.
I know what I'm gonna do. I'm still gonna stick with opening another park, and I'm gonna still keep it as the villains theme park. If you haven't heard that show, go back and listen to it because we went into grave detail and we had the listens. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. I'll do something different. I say redo the dining plan so you might have a small increase in price, but you also include gratuities. Really make it an all-inclusive price where the servers get, the cast members will get a good tip, so they know they're going to get a good tip, and their service will stay up, but yet you don't have to worry about, having to shell out even more cash in tips and stuff like that. That's just a thought. You know why? I loved that dining plan when it first came out, and it included gratuities, because I can include that in my package at that time. I got that 6-month 0% interest from the Disney Visa card, paid it all off at one time, and then I just didn't have to worry about a thing.
That's so true. Alicia goes, I was expecting Danny to fix the bus transportation. We're just going to remove the bus transportation if I'm there.
No, give everybody segues. Give everybody segues.
Just move everything closer.
Kind of like Wall-E, when just everybody gets put on their little personal transports. Yeah.
Michelle, where did you stay? She said the buses were terrible.
You know what? I heard
an hour to Magic Kingdom bus.
Okay. Let me go ahead and say this. I have heard a couple places had experienced some really poor buses over the past week. that, I mean, it was really pretty intense. And it was one resort. It was one resort I was hearing, but I saw people mention different resorts. Here's the thing. I'm going to be really honest here. Usually at the bus stops, they have a phone that will connect you to Disney transportation. And I'll admit it, if I'm waiting there more than 20 minutes and I haven't seen a bus go to where I need to go, I pick up that phone.
It's the same thing as when someone walks by and I'm like, hey, listen, I've been here for a half hour. You keep updating that sign above me that just keeps saying it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. It's not showing up. What's going on? I feel like they just give you that very generic answer. Oh, we're so sorry. The bus is coming.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I have picked up the phone and I would say nicely, hey, listen, I'm over here at this particular stop, this particular place. What's going on? I haven't seen a bus for insert park name here in, quite a while. And I would like to know what's going on. I'd like to know, really if I have to wait another half an hour for a bus, there's something going on. And, the thing is that you may have to look for the, why?
We're complaining about free transportation.
But here's the deal. I know that waiting up to 20 minutes should be considered normal. Sometimes 30 minutes. Yeah, okay. That's something you could still consider because you know what? You should be planning on about an hour to get from point A to point B. That's the general rule. I've been preaching that for quite some time and it works really well. But, a lot of times, you'll have to find that phone. And yeah, I do believe they're pretty much at every bus stop. You just kind of have to look for it. It may be behind. It's not like out in the open. You'll have to like open up a box. Sometimes they're a little inconspicuous, but to ask like how are, okay, every resort seems to have an issue at one time or another. I have never heard anybody, let me rephrase it. I've never heard of a resort constantly have awesome bus service. Art of Animation always has great bus service because someone's going to say, hey, it sucked when I was there. I personally think some of the worst bus service because they're shared buses include the monorail resorts.
Yeah.
But because you have to share those buses.
Such long bus rides.
They're kind of longer bus rides. It's not that the bus service is bad. You just have to know what you're getting into. Just remember, at every resort, you're going to have a closest and a furthest park. And you're always going to have places like long trip, short trip. Personally, I think like a resort, like
everything is far from Magic Kingdom.
Everything is far from Magic Kingdom. I will say this though. I think Old Key West and to some extent Port Orleans, Riversides, you'd be surprised on how fast you can get to Epcot. But the thing is, you also have to understand the bus system. I usually get on at the last stop, and then I'm 7 to 10 minutes from Epcot. And I'm like 10 to 12 minutes away from Magic Kingdom, 10 to 12 minutes away from Animal Kingdom, and like less than 10 minutes away from Studios.
Sometimes I've waited so long for a bus, I'll take a bus to another park. And then just get off that bus and just go, no, we're taking to a different, I found ways around it. Listen, it's just not my preferred way of travel. I prefer not to do it, but at the same time, I'm staying at, where am I staying? Pop. I need to take a bus. That's the only form of transportation, unless me and Alex take the car out. It's that simple. Or an Uber. Now, granted, I am lucky enough, and I say that tongue-in-cheek a little bit, I don't have kids. I'm not married. I have a little more money that I can drop on an Uber twice a day if I want to. That's not everybody's plan. But like Chris said, just plan for it. The problem is we've become so accustomed to everyday life like that, and then when you get down to Disney and you're almost used to it because the crowds were lesser when everybody used to go, and you're just used to flying, and now all of a sudden everybody's like, well, crap. Like I saw Jessica before say, oh, during the Princess Marathon weekend last February, the buses were terrible. Because you had an influx of people. Here's also the thing, and I'm not going to make this a debate about buses versus taking your own car or stuff like that. But here's the thing: unless you're really doing a lot of park hopping and stuff like that,
the fact of the matter is, even driving doesn't save you hours of time, during a single day. It's almost cheaper to just get an Uber for those individual times that you might need a little point A to point B assistance, or go and, take a minivan from, a point A to point B if you happen to be at one of the resorts that currently offer it. There are some differences. Different things. There have been times where, I would actually take my truck because we happen to, this would actually happen. If we get to a resort, we just go right off the highway, right to a resort. We don't even check into our hotel. I'd have the truck with me, and then I would take the truck. My wife would go with the kids on a bus, and I'd say, okay, meet you at the resort. There have been times where she beat me by 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And there have been some times she has beat me by 15 to 20 minutes just because of either traffic, I got lost, or got turned around, or something. Which, listen, I'll be honest with you. You may have your own GPS. I don't care if it's your phone. I don't care if it's a Garmin. I don't care if it's a TomTom, whatever. The funny part is, sometimes those GPSs do not warn you with enough time in order to take certain routes. Also,
so you gotta drive like me.
I'm going to tell you right now, man. People better be updating their maps on their GPSs, because they're making so many changes. Dude, what the heck?
I was a NASCAR driver.
I've never seen a NASCAR driver have a look like that on their face.
Remember that puppy in the second gear that took off?
Wow.
Okay. I drive on the grass. I don't care. I'll drive anywhere.
So, it's just one of those things. Your mileage really does vary in those cases, and it's not, I don't care if you use Waze. I don't care if you use the maps that come from Android.
Google Maps.
I don't care if you use, MapQuest, whatever. The fact of the matter is,
still a thing.
What?
MapQuest is still a thing.
I use MapQuest all the time.
Oh my god! I thought that went out with AOL.
The thing is, I use MapQuest all the time to do my original planning, because I think I can find things faster, and I think it actually works pretty well. Partially, it's out of habit. I got it bookmarked and all that jazz. But the thing is sometimes you just really have to expect an hour and 10 minutes sometimes, and set your own personal expectations, and you'll be fine.
If the gondola system is free, if it is a free system, which we don't know if it is, yay or nay, but if it is a free system, that will alleviate a lot of bus traffic out of Art of Animation and Pop.
I think you're right, but I think there's an asterisk at the end of that statement.
For what?
Well, the thing of it is that the gondola system is going to be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing how it looks. I'd like to know more stats on what they predict that their guest capacity per hour is actually going to be. The reason why I say that is because while I think the gondola systems will be able to do more of a point A to point B approach, the fact of the matter is that they're not going to be floating, a busload full of people in a gondola. So, it's just one of those things. So how many of those gondolas would equal the capacity of a bus? How fast is it going to get there? And how long of a line will you have to wait to ride the gondola? If you have to wait a half hour or more to ride the gondola, and you can only, at that time, it alleviates some bus issues, but you could take a bus and it's only going to take you 10 minutes and you're still going to beat the gondola there. If time is of the essence, you're going to probably take the bus. If you're considering the transportation system, in this case, gondola, to be a part of your Disney experience, then that's okay. We used to consider the buses and the boats and monorail, and still today we do. We consider them a part of the Disney experience. It's another ride. It's another attraction. No, that's just my 2 cents.
What Disney movie that you would like to see adapted into a ride, and what kind of ride? I can go with the classic, like I've been saying for years. I literally have it sketched out. Disney's dropped the ball. Go with Monsters Inc. Go with a roller coaster. You can have the door, the sock, the monsters, dark ride, backwards, forward. You can do a whole bunch of stuff. But I would almost like to see they adapt the old style of Test Track with the hot and cold rooms. You're gonna see what I'm going to say with this. Put it towards Zootopia, because they go to the 4 different cities that are all in the one thing. So you can like have a roller coaster, or not even a roller coaster. Let's call it a dark ride. So a haunted man, an Omni mover, essentially. But you can have it traveling and go through the different elements and everything.
I love that idea. I personally think what would be a cool adaptation for the Monsters Inc. ride, if for some reason, and please everybody, I do not necessarily want this to happen, but if for some reason Rock and Roller Coaster actually gets the total themed refurb, in other words, Aerosmith goes away, I don't want that to happen, make that into a Monsters Inc. type of ride.
You know, the problem with that ride is so short.
It's short, but it's intense.
Oh yeah, and that's why it's so
well,
short.
and the problem with it is I realize you wouldn't be able to have a lot of little kids on that ride because either A, they won't be able to ride because they're too short, or B, it's going to scare the snot out of them.
You know, I saw a Universal commercial the other day.
I'm sorry.
Fair enough. But it's so funny how they take the digs at Disney, though. But you know what? They were almost spot on. They were showing little kids growing up and everything. And then they were saying, like, once you get old enough and you can enjoy certain things, come to Universal, we'll take care of you. And I started thinking in the back of my mind, I was like, Disney does have that stigma of being definitely more geared towards kids. And they're not far off. Not saying that Disney doesn't have thrill rides, but look at your train of thought right there. Oh, take Aerosmith and let's make it a Monsters Inc. But it's not, little kids can't go on it. Our first mindset as Disney goers and Disney lovers is, okay, can the kids do it? Is this cool? Can the kids, you know what I mean? That's our first thought. We could have said, no, make Rock and Roller Coaster, add 40 miles per hour on top of whatever it's already doing, and let's make it a Monsters Inc. Let's have Sully attack you. But it's funny that Universal takes that dig, and some people might not even realize that's what they did, but they're kind of spot on.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say this. I would love to go to Universal. And I'd like to see it. I'd like to experience it. I'd like to take a day, maybe even 2, to go to Universal and see what it has to offer. Okay? Here's the thing. I don't want to pay for it. I just don't. Okay, I'm going to be really deathly honest. I don't want to pay for it. I know it's expensive. It's all expensive. But here's the thing. I don't know whether or not I don't want to pay for it because I'm just too darn cheap, or whether or not I feel like I would be constantly comparing it to Disney.
You will, because I do.
And so the thing is, it's like, I want to enjoy it. I want to experience it. And I promise that if I go, I would really, truly give it an open mind review. And I'd really be honest. I mean, if someone had an extra ticket, I'd even come down there.
You know what the nice thing about Universal, though, is their tickets are not like gold. You can buy discounted tickets to Universal, whether it's through AAA or certain different sites. There are legitimate tickets are sold at discount. Unlike Disney, where it's buy it through Disney or you probably won't make it in the parks. It's fake.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, there was a person posted something on a Facebook page about Walt Disney World tickets $29, and they're like, is this kind of thing legit? And usually what ends up happening is that you have to do some kind of timeshare presentation, which they are just not worth it. They are not going to a timeshare presentation is not worth it to try to get cheap or free tickets, in my opinion. So But I would like to try it. I mean, I would. I think I'd like it, but I don't have it in my budget to do both. So it is one of those things. So I like what Alex says here, though. You know, she says, I grew up going to both Disney and Universal equally, so I see them as their own great thing. Universal Studios has that awesome backlot feel, which I can't get at MGM. I see how she does the MGM thing like you. And Islands has all the thrills. Here's what I'm concerned about the thrill rides. I am very concerned that they are not poo friendly. You know,
no, they are.
They are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna put it in Universal terms. I'd be like, minion friendly.
You know what I really and actually thoroughly enjoyed about Universal? They planned for ridiculously large crowds, unlike Disney did. There are not, besides some of the entrances into Harry Potter, their walkways are meant for large amounts of people walking down them at once. And I think people take an unfair criticism at Universal where they'll take a picture and be like, look how empty it is. Well, no, it's if you take a picture in front of Aladdin at that bottleneck, you can have 30 people standing there and it looks like the park is swamped that day. Where you can go over where Jaws used to be in Universal, take a picture, and it looks empty because literally, I mean, I can't tell you how much room there is. I don't know if it's a smart thing or a bad thing because they wasted a lot of space, but very well done when it comes to crowd control. I do give them that.
Yeah, I mean, you bring a very good point. I mean, the fact of the matter is that excuse me for 1 second. It's kind of how Disney uses forced perspective on their second and third floors of buildings. It's almost like the pathways almost have their type of forced perspective because sometimes people, they equate a crowd to being something that's more popular. And if it's more popular, it's going to be better. And there's more excitement, because a crowd brings out the excitement in all of us. I mean, you wouldn't want to go to a concert with 5 people in the stands and it's supposed to fit 25,000 people. No, you want to hear all the, everybody screaming and this, that, and the other, and so on and so forth. The crowd, when it's controlled right, really provides you with the feeling of awesomeness.
That is sad. You can't get slimed at Universal anymore. I miss the slime. Listen, even with Pandora being open, I still stand by this. Universal still has the number 1 park, and we'll just call it the Eastern Seaboard because I have not been out to Disneyland and Universal out there. The best themed park right now is still Harry Potter. No, Pandora is great. Pandora is lovely. Pandora doesn't hold a candle to it, and it was supposed to. So we're hoping that Star Wars does it, and I think Star Wars will. Because once again, it's going to be the new shiny thing on the block, and Star Wars is a lot bigger than Harry Potter is. But I mean, listen, there's a lot of flaws to Universal. You have to pay for their FastPass system. They
don't you get that for free if you stay at one of their hotels?
Yes, but what happens if you don't?
Oh, I understand, but I'm just saying.
I'm just comparing to Disney, where you don't have to stay at a Disney hotel to get a FastPass.
Yeah, you see, what I'm getting at is, if I was to do this, I would actually stay at one of the Universal Studios resorts to kind of get immersed, just like I like to be immersed at Disney.
Yeah, I know. There's some people who were saying they didn't fit. I had no problem fitting on any of the rides. But hey, everybody's built differently. I probably got bigger too. Listen, I think each park does have its own unique thing. I think I think if you maybe choose, I'm going to choose Disney 100% of the time. I still think Disney does it a lot better. Disney's still the number 1 theme park in the entire world. But Universal's got some good qualities, but I think the biggest problem is I'm not paying to go sit on a simulator ride that throws me around and squirts some water in my face for 2 minutes. It's just not what I'm going to do. Yeah,
everybody got really excited about the whole Jimmy Fallon ride and type of thing. And I saw, someone obviously smuggled their camera in. They posted it on YouTube and so on and so forth. And so when I saw that particular attraction, I actually watched it and so on. I'm like, that's it? Really? That's it? It's another simulator ride, going through New York? I mean,
I'm interested in it, but like that was the big thing is I know people were ranting and raving about Kong, and I missed it by a week. And
Kong!
I really want to ride. I still want to ride it, but people were saying. I still think the Mummy is one of the best motion moving ride. That's not a real word sentence.
Motion moving ride.
I'm trying to think of what would they consider dinosaur for us. It's not an omni mover. It's a vehicle simulator.
A motion vehicle ride. Motion vehicle.
Nothing beats the Mummy. Over in Universal, the Mummy is dope. Awesome ride. And they do really cool stuff with Jurassic Park. You can actually hang glide. You don't really hang glide. You sit in a seat, and they just pull a lap bar down, and the roof looks like a glide. But you can rock it back and forth. And two people sit in it, and it brings you all above the trees inside of Jurassic Park, which is kind of cool.
Now I'm thinking of that theme song in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I was not a Spider-Man fan, and I know people go nuts for Spider-Man. The only cool part about Spider-Man is when you're falling and Spider-Man shoots his web and grabs you and pulls you back up.
But that's the thing. I just...
They do have butterbeer, which is diabetic soda, but it's good.
Well, so is LeFou's Brew.
This is sweeter than LeFou's Brew.
Oh my gosh, really? How could you get sweeter than LeFou's Brew?
It's basically just drinking sugar and foam. It's kind of dumb.
Oh man,
it's absolutely delicious. Yeah. So listen, we were talking to somebody who runs the biggest Universal site on Facebook, and a few million people are in that group, and we were in talks with them. I wanted him to come on the show to do some chit chat about Universal, and they didn't want it. They didn't want to handle it. They probably saw how I manhandled Kayla last time we had a show on that. So
notice Kayla hasn't been around in a while.
Of course, well, she gets tired of me beating her up all the time. Listen, if you know anybody who wants to talk Universal with us, you could see. I could be fair. I could be, I'm bi, and I can listen to both sides. But at the end of the day, I still think Disney's better. Yeah, the Mummy, you will get sick though. And I'm dead serious. If you've got any back problems or don't ride it unless you have a really stiff back and you need a good cracking, but you're afraid of going to the chiropractor, it'll loosen you right up. You'll feel I felt like Gumby getting off that ride. I literally had bruises from that ride, and I'm a big man.
Sounds like me and the Matterhorn at Disneyland. That was a once and done movie. That was a once and done ride for me. I know it was, supposedly really. Oh man, I got off of that, and I looked at my wife and said, "Ew, please wait, I'm hurting."
Or roller coasters, or anything I can ride at Universal that doesn't have a screen. Let me think about that. I'd have to rattle into my brain. I mean, you could always go to Simpsons Land and go to Moe's Tavern and get yourself a Simpsons and just hang out. Yeah, it's a rough ride. I love it. Still think it's the best one ever. But see, E.T. I guess that's not like a Soarin'. I guess it's like an old school Soarin'. I don't know. Chris, you have anything else you'd like to add?
No. I mean, I'm jealous that you get to leave tomorrow to go to Disney.
I still have to pack. I got home from work and just couldn't do it.
It's kind of funny. It's like you say, "Oh, I gotta," and when did you book your flight? Last week?
Yeah, and I booked the trip like 2 weeks before that.
Did you book the trip yourself?
No, I still. I went to Master Travel, though.
Oh, of course. But I'm thinking to myself, what you needed to do is call yourself up and then demand what you wanted and then say, "Hey, can I get a discount?" And then you have to argue with yourself saying no. It's just like, then you have to stop and then you've argued with yourself. I'm going to go somewhere else. And then you have to argue with yourself by saying, everywhere you go with Disney, the price is going to be the same. It's the service that makes the difference. Then you said, "Hey,
giving me good service."
Well, yeah, if you start talking to yourself and say, "You need to give me better service," Dude, you need to switch. You need to switch from what you're drinking to drinking some of that, Trader Sam's coffee.
Oh man, I was so tired around 7 o'clock. I had a cup of coffee. I was like, nope, this is going to be a night where 2 shows got a pack. If any of our VIP members are in here, how would you guys like this VIP show to be me and Mr. Chris, and I'll be packing while we do it? Is that an option? Can I pack while we do a VIP show? Would anybody be perturbed?
Dude, I don't want to see your whitey tighties. I'm sorry. No.
Yeah, I'll hide them. I got some cool. I can show you all my shirts.
We'll have a way to do the pixelation over it. It's like
the black bar just running across. Oh, man.
Oh, gosh.
All right. Yeah, with that being said, guys, I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. We will be in touch with you guys next week, figuring out how many shows we're going to do. Stay tuned. Listen, seriously, Streaming the Magic that you guys are watching this now on, if you're watching it from that, I'll be doing some live streams, but also over on the Disney community, I will be doing exclusive streams only for the Disney community and special streams. I've got some cool stuff planned for our site. It's called The Disney Community. It's on Facebook. Go sign up for it if you haven't already. 3,000 members strong. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. If I don't see you guys that much next week, please have a safe week. Don't beat Chris up too much.
They love me. They love my live solo shows.
Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. Facebook is Behind the Ears Podcast, Instagram Behind the Ears Podcast, and Twitter Behind the Ears PC. Any listener questions, comments, or concerns, send them to behindtheearspodcast@gmail.com. Once again, go join the Disney community, the Facebook page. If you'd like to buy any of our swag, that will be over on behindtheearspodcast.net. Click the shop button. You'll find all our cool stuff there. Don't forget to rate and review our show on iTunes. I know it sounds trivial, but it really does help us climb the ladder and helps new people find the show on a daily basis. With that being said, guys, don't forget to sweep up your crumbs, drink that cranberry juice, and enjoy your time at home while I am at Disney. I am Uncle Danny. I see you all next week, 2 weeks, whatever. You'll see.
All I know is that if Uncle Danny does not stream himself drinking some cranberry juice while he's at Walt Disney World, I, myself, will be disappointed. But until then, please feel free to subscribe to the show. Apple Podcast, iTunes, Google Play Music, Ask Alexa, or your Google Assistant to play Behind the Ears Podcast. But go and subscribe to it, whatever you use for a podcast catcher. And even if you don't, go ahead and give it a try, because you're going to hear more exclusive podcasts from us on the podcast format. So, until we meet again, we hope you have a wonderful and magical day. Take care.
Before we leave, I'll cut this out on the back end. If you guys are in the parks while I'm there, please, I know people have felt weird about coming up and saying hi to me. Listen, if I'm with Alex, you want to come up and say hi, you let me take a picture with you, because I love taking pictures. It's not for you, it's for me. Let's take some pictures. You want to hang out and chat for a few minutes, that's great, no problem. When I'm with Alex, I'm just going to be kind of quick, just so we can spend time together. But please don't be weird about coming to say hi. Come say hi. I will be alone Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, basically. So if, any of the locals are down there, you guys want to come out at night, come have a chat, come have a drink, want to get a bite to eat and really maybe pick each other's brains, talk a little bit, please feel free. Don't, even if you want to message me on the side, just feel free. I will be around. Also, everybody, please be careful driving this upcoming week with Halloween. There's going to be a lot of kids running and darting in and out of the roads. Try to keep your kids close to you, and enjoy your Halloween. Eat some candy, get a tummy ache, call out of work. Just eat some candy, people. Then go see a dentist, because you should really clean that all up. You know what I'm saying? All right. Happy Halloween. Happy weekend. Out.